All right. Welcome, everyone. We're just going to give it to come in. Oh, sorry. I'm on mute. We need a couple more minutes for people to come in, and we'll get started momentarily. All right. We're going to go ahead and get started. Hello, and welcome to day 2 of our Toluna digital launch event. Obviously, I'm a little biased, but I thought day 1 was amazing. We were joined by industry leaders from Facebook, Mondelez International, Premier Foods, and JTI to discuss their needs for agile new product development research and how our new end-to-end intelligence platform, Toluna Start, showing off a t-shirt here, helps insights teams stay ahead of fast-moving consumers. If you missed it, no worries. The Toluna team will be distributing the recording this week. My name is Phil, and I'm the Chief Digital Officer here at Toluna, Harrison Interactive, and Crew on Data. I'll be moderating these sessions today and joined by other leaders from Toluna Group and insights leaders across the industry. We have a lot of fun and exciting things to showcase to you today, but before we get into it, let's take a quick moment to go over some housekeeping items. Today's session should run about an hour, and we'll focus on collaboration and how to leverage expertise cross-functionally. I'll kickstart today with a quick introduction to Toluna and to our new Toluna Star consumer intelligence platform. This might be a bit repetitive for those that you attended yesterday's session, but I'll do my best to go through it quickly, especially for those who are unfamiliar with us. Collaboration is a key ingredient to the success of market research programs. This is a core need that enables market research groups to work more efficiently and drive stakeholder engagement. Toluna Start is designed with this core capability in mind. My partner in crime during these events, Susan Vidler, Managing Director at Harrison Interactive, will walk us through the collaboration themes, the benefits of collaborating via an end-to-end insights platform. Susan's presentation will then lead us into a platform demonstration of the user experience and collaboration features within Toluna Start. Aaron Staples, our Vice President of Digital Products, will be navigating us through the intuitive functionalities of the platform. Next, we'll dive into a roundtable discussion to hear from insights leaders at Moy Park, Converse, Colgate-Palmolive, and CVS Health on key drivers and success factors of their insights organizations. And finally, we'll recap this amazing day. I do want to quickly remind all of you that while this event is scheduled for 1 hour, we are available to answer any questions you have about Toluna Group or Toluna Start at our 24/7 live discussion chat at tolunalive.com. We have subject matter experts available throughout the day. All right, on to the show. For those that aren't familiar with Toluna Group, we are a global real-time insights firm covering Toluna, Harrison Interactive, and Crew on Data. Toluna was founded 20 years ago by Frederic Charles Petit with the idea to democratize market research and empower all business decision makers with the right data to make the best informed decision in real time. Over the course of 20 years, we've evolved to cover all aspects of the market research data collection process by fusing the best of human insights with the best of technology to help you make faster, better decisions and to drive positive results. Today, we are a unique mix of skills covering technology, research expertise, and own one of the largest global consumer insights communities in the world. Our staff of 1,400 forward-thinking professionals span 26 offices around the globe. We strive to be a global group that can deliver your needs locally if and when needed. We're heavily invested in technology and believe strongly that powerful technology focused on agility and automation will help you stay ahead of fast-moving consumer sentiment and behaviors. If 2020 has taught us anything at all, it's that agility and real-time data collection is core to any insights program. And finally, the ability to reach the right people at the right moment to ask the right question is critical to the success of any research study. As we all know, quality plays a key role across the insights collection process, and our ability to tap into over 30 million consumers across 70 markets with a deep degree of profiling means that you can build and reach the right audience every time. On Monday, we launched the next evolution of our technology stack, Toluna Start. This is the first true end-to-end consumer intelligence platform delivering the best of both DIY research and traditional research. You gain the flexibility, speed, and value of DIY technology while maintaining the quality, expertise, and collaboration of traditional research. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's hard to believe. And trust me when I tell you, it was really, really hard to build. And this has been a 10-year evolution for us. It all started with an online community panel that grew into a DIY survey platform called Quick Surveys. Then things really started to come together for us when we acquired Harris Interactive and started integrating proven research methodology into our tech stack. This automates the insight collection process in real time, from project setup all the way to actionable reports and deliverables. Today, it's not good enough to just have great technology or just have great research methodology. Even great technology can deliver bad research or biased results in the wrong user's hands. And relying on great methodology can be too slow to make an impact on your business decisions. This is what brings us to this moment in time. Utilizing a consumer intelligence platform which can cover all aspects of the research process, such as audiences, sample, communities, surveys, and analytics, with proven research methodology integrated at every step if you need it. Toluna Start is built for the professional researcher all the way to the novice, empowering you with the ability to build any custom projects covering all aspects of quant and qual, or utilizing our automated solutions with integrated proven methodology to ensure the right data is delivered to make the best decision. What makes Toluna Start different is exactly what we want to showcase to you during these events. It's easy to talk about it, and to be honest, just about every provider in this industry just talks about it. In fact, if you Google insights platforms, you can just see how many providers claim to have one. Today, we will show you why this is different and why you have the opportunity to test drive the platform and see for yourself. We all want and should demand the best of both DIY research and traditional research without sacrificing quality or cutting corners during the insights collection process. Quite frankly, that is disruptive to our industry, and that's what democratizing research means to us. So you shouldn't have to compromise your research program, and you never have to with Toluna Starts. Now, enough talk from me, on to the good stuff. Susan, are you ready to wow us?
Thanks, Phil. And hello, everyone. As you've heard from Phil, the Toluna Start platform has been developed to meet the needs of the current needs and the evolving needs of both brands and agencies in the market. We want to just take a few minutes with you to expand on that in relation to agile solutions and the ability to collaborate within and share research insights across organizations. So we'll explore what these needs are in this space, how they're evolving, and how these needs are addressed through the platform via a demonstration, which my colleague Erin will take you through. Okay. So as we all know, market research has changed a great deal over the last few years, and the pace of that change has really only accelerated in the past 6 months. The business problems that we help organizations to solve, honestly, they've not changed a great deal. However, what has changed is the way the research needs to be conducted in order to better support the organizations and the environments in which they operate. And it's not just that the whole process needs to be faster. It's really about using automation and technology to meet the need for speed, yes, but also the need for quality, for ease of use, for flexibility, for value, all at the same time. The pressure on organizations to do more with less continues, and the efficiencies are needed at absolutely every step of the research process to drive quality insights at pace. Added to this, the impact of the global pandemic has only increased pressure on many aspects of our lives and the businesses in which we operate. So organizations have had to adapt the products, the services, the marketing communications to the changing needs of the consumer. Honestly, our way of life has changed, and some of the behaviors may change forever. So testing products, testing services, communications, brand positionings to ensure that they're relevant going forward has always been important, but it's now more critical than ever. The drivers of change and the challenges faced by organizations were definitely present before COVID-19, but for some organizations, COVID-19 has really increased the pace of change and increased that pace in line with the changing consumer behaviors. We've seen research conducted to assess behaviors, attitudes, preferences throughout the pandemic. As spending and consumer habits have changed, The businesses that can adapt, they have, and they've really maximized the opportunities. So for example, we've seen gaming companies have been testing new products to meet the increased demand as people spend more time and money on media and entertainment services. We've seen subscription service providers test new services and content as demand increases. OTC providers and providers of household cleaning products have tested new claims on existing products. And many organizations have really been testing new advertising claims throughout this period to ensure that the tone is really appropriate throughout the pandemic. Being able to adapt quickly has been critical for brands over the last few months. And as a result, we've really seen a significant increase in the number of studies using agile solutions that needed to be completed in 24 hours. Having the ability to share projects, to share templates and results within one platform for both qual and quant projects helps support an agile research environment and for teams to share knowledge efficiently and effectively. Most of the challenges that the organizations we've been speaking to or working with, the challenges that they face being grouped into a number of different areas, and I'll take you through these. These are the drivers that have really helped to inform the development of the platform. So the first driver, as you can see there, is a theme of speed. And as we all know, the pace at which quality insights are required is faster than ever before. And results are often needed in hours and days, not weeks. So having pre-templated questionnaires already set up, using an organization's preferred design or one that our researchers can provide based on best practice means that organizations just don't waste time or resources with multiple members of their team designing questionnaires from every project, enabling the teams to focus on really adding value. The second theme is quality. In the past, honestly, quality and speed have often been traded off one against another. But now the technology has enabled best practice methodology and rigor to really be embedded in the solutions. So the design and the quality checks are thought through in advance, saving time at the point of use. Pre-templated questionnaires or standardization of approaches and data visualization tools aid this process. But for senior insight leads with multiple team members, they really benefit from having a standard framework in place for all key research types that their teams can use. And they can use these DIY or fully serviced, but within the same organization's account or the team's account. And this doesn't just save time and increase quality. It means that previous data from projects can easily be searched for, and the results are presented in the same way, so comparisons can be made quickly and easily. In terms of ease and use, brands and agencies really expect to work with technology that is both easy to use and intuitive. So some organizations may want to use a platform themselves, as we've mentioned, so using it DIY, and some may want a fully serviced option, or as we've seen more and more, something in between. An easy to use platform enables DIY when required or serviced when required. The ability to visualize results in an easy to use format is also really, really key. So for example, if you're sharing results with different stakeholders across different teams within your organization, this is vital. And when working at pace, many need to share results real time, not just at the end of a project. So pre-designed dashboards used across all projects of a certain type across your organization really helps this, particularly if you're working at a global level, and it means that the data and the results can be reviewed and interpreted in a standard way. We understand that flexibility is really, really key, and in the past it was often a bespoke option or a fully standardized or automated option with little or no flexibility. A greater level of customization and flexibility for those who require it has really been factored into the automated solutions. So flexibility has been added in terms of additional questions or whether or not a monadic or a sequential monadic design is required, or flexibility in terms of service levels, so DIY, assisted, or fully serviced. We recognise that brands and agencies have more than one way of working. Sometimes it may be DIY, other times it may be a fully serviced solution. And this flexibility is now a choice, not something that needs to be decided on for all projects or within one organisation or team. And of course, value is always important. But as organisations are expected to do more with less, and as the current economic challenges post the outbreak of coronavirus take hold, ensuring value is key. Therefore, using products and solutions with automation that is factored into every step of the process helps to keep costs down and enables the business to address the same business issues, but in a high quality and consistent manner. Being able to kind of co-create, collaborate, share projects, questionnaires, data, results across organizations enables organizations to be more efficient, to scale, and to really embed the desired levels of quality and best practice into the work that they do. Technology and automation is not a separate driver. Really it's the enabler. It's the enabler that supports all the previous points and makes agile research a reality, and the enhancements continue to be developed. So just to recap, the need for agile research is clear, and the business problems that we help organizations solve have not changed a great deal. However, what really has changed is the way the research needs to be conducted in order to better support the organizations and the environments in which they're operating. Addressing the key drivers for agile research has been the heart of the development of the Toluna Start platform. I'll now hand you over to Erin. So Erin is our VP of Digital Products at Toluna. We'll take you through a demonstration of Toluna Start, and we're going to be focusing in this session on the sharing and the collaboration features.
All right, hi everybody. I'm Erin, and thank you, Susan. I'm going to take you through a quick tour of the Toluna Start platform and show you firsthand how it supports collaboration. So I'm going to go here and just share my screen with you all. And we'll get right into it. So the first thing you're going to see when you log into Toluna Start is this homepage on your account. So up top here is a quick access area to your 4 most recent projects. You can easily view their status here. You can click into edit, or for anything that's live or has been in field and is now complete and therefore has a report accessible, you can also click into the report right from this top area. All of the other projects within your account are located up here in the My Projects tab or through the All Projects button over here on the right. This will include anything that you yourself have created in your account, as well as anything else that other projects that your team has opted to share with you. So we'll come back to that area in just a moment too. Down below, you're going to see where you can access all of the solutions available on the platform, starting here with creating a custom survey, so the option to create a bespoke survey of your own. Otherwise, you can opt to use one of our automated solutions. So all of these are template-based, fully customizable even still, and they all have the methodologies embedded right into the template. They also all have an intuitive setup wizard that carries you through and guides you through the creation process. And they all come with a real-time info board output that quickly highlight key metrics front and center for you. You'll also find our qual options here between branded communities and live discussions. And you'll also find our behavioral data and digital tracking solution here as well. So now that we've gone through this homepage, I'm going to bring you back up into this projects area that I just referenced a minute ago. So I'm going to click over to here. And just as a reminder, this is everything in my account that I have created myself, anything that my team has chosen to share with me. So I'm going to have full view and full access to anything that my team has created in our shared account. So from this screen, I can easily turn sharing on and off as a creator of a project. So I can opt to either share or keep something private and not share with the team. Another key feature here is this filter option by creator. So this allows me to really easily hone into the projects that my team is working on. I can opt to include everybody's projects in here, see everything, or I can filter down and kind of cut out some of the clutter so I'm able to just see and find projects that I'm really looking for specifically. So while this visibility is beneficial to an organization of any size, it's especially beneficial for those larger teams in terms of quality and control. The more individuals that an organization has that are conducting research, the more important it becomes to have that visibility over what they're using. So the questionnaires, the methodologies, and so on. So through this screen, everything that my team is working on is visible and accessible to me at any time. So these features are also about creating efficiencies and consistency. So as an example, let's say that my colleague Julia here is our methodologies expert. So while we're able to use some of the automated solutions on platform and make our own customizations, there are some types of research that we prefer to use our own templates for. So Delia, as our methodologies expert, has created our company's templates that are used globally. So I'm able to filter by Delia. I can go and find the template that I need. I can duplicate it and create my own version and then carry that forward and build that out. And I can be confident that I'm upholding that same level of quality and that same level of consistency that my organization is striving for. So not only can I go in and click into the questionnaire portion of a project or duplicate a project at any time, another big component of sharing and collaboration on Toluna Start is actually the reporting and the analytics. So again, I'm going to keep this filtered by my colleague Delia. I'm going to use the search function up top here. And I know that she has recently launched a concept test that I'm interested in. So I'm going to go ahead and search by that. And you'll see here these two new icons have appeared. This is the full report dashboard here, or the info board. And again, the info board is what comes with each of the automated solutions. So I'm going to go ahead and click right into the info board. And from this info board, I can click around. I have the same level of access as Delia, the creator, has, or anyone else on my team has. I can click around and take a look at the key metrics, grab from this what I need. Anything that I need is accessible here, and I can pull from it. I can also conduct my own analysis here. So what I can do is apply some filters. If I have some weighting segments set up, I can also apply those. All of this will reconfigure the data right in the info board. Everything I need is right here, and I can grab what I need. If I do need an export, I can download a full PowerPoint export that will include all of the same visualization that I'm seeing here in the info board. And then I can customize that and utilize it as I need as well, without having to actually reach out to one of my colleagues to ask them for the link to something or have them send it to me. So I referenced before the full data dashboard that's also accessible through all of the solutions. So I'm going to go ahead from here and click right over to that. And from the full data dashboard, you're going to see some more sharing capabilities as well that we have. So if I want to share this data dashboard with one of my colleagues, I can open up this sharing menu and go from here. So each iteration of a shared report that I create has a description. This I can use for my own reference. I can use it to reference something for whomever I'm sharing it with as well. So for this purpose, I'm going to say I'm sharing this with my colleague Ashley. And then down here, I get to dictate what visibility they have or what version of a report that I'm sending them. So I can either opt for a fresh report, which will give them the default view. No analysis that I've done will be visible. They'll get a clean slate and they can do with it what they will or whatever permissions that I've sent for them. Copy of the current report is going to include any analysis that I have done up until sharing. They will be able to view that right from the link that I sent to them. Or in this case, what I'm going to choose is to work on the same report with Ashley. So this way, Ashley and I can collaborate in real time on analysis. We can see what the other is doing. As soon as I share this, she will see any analysis I've already done. And then once it's shared and she's in there too, we'll see in real time what the other is doing within the report and any analysis that each other are conducting. Additional features here, you can opt to password protect it. You can set an expiration date for access. So if I want to revoke access or essentially break the link on a certain date, I can opt to do that here. These are all of the permissions here. I have them all selected by default. I want Ashley to have full access to this, but should I wish to give somebody just read permissions, I can take away certain permissions or certain capabilities that they have in here. As soon as I generate the link, I'm going to see a sharing history right here. So you can see that this is a report that I've just created. It keeps track, so I can go back and reference whoever I've shared with. The actual report that I've shared, I can access through this link here. It'll remind me the permissions that I gave them, the version of the report, etc. And from here, I'm also able to revoke sharing rights at any time should I want to take away their access as well. So this level of visibility and accessibility means that there's no more waiting for someone to send me a link or an export, or for a colleague to get into the office and send me what I'm looking for. So all things that I'm sure we've all waited on someone else for at one point or another. So what we've really aimed to do with these features across the platform that I've shown you is we are looking to create efficiencies and increase them, enable collaboration, really support consistency and quality, and provide that agility and the flexibility that we all need throughout the insights process. So this completes the demo portion of the session. I think I speak for everyone when I say that we really look forward to seeing you all on the platform, and we look forward to any feedback that you might have as you go along. So with that, I will hand it back to Phil.
Thanks, Erin. That was great. And obviously, we're doing these in short windows of time. So if anyone wants us to deep dive with a full training or even further demonstrations, don't ever hesitate to reach out to any one of us, your account rep over here at Toluna, or anyone within the company for that matter. So now we're going to pivot over to our panel discussion, which these things are always fun. And if you caught yesterday's discussion, it was a great topic back and forth in terms of agility within the NPD process. Today, we're going to focus on how collaboration can help us, industries, enterprise teams, companies win. So we're planning about 20-25 minutes of a panel discussion. We'll try to leave 5 to 10 minutes at the end from questions from the audience. So if you have a question for any of us, any panel member, myself or Susan, feel free to put it in the chat box and we'll try our best to get to it. We have a great panel of speakers joining us, Susan and I, and please forgive me if I butcher any of these names. I'm sorry. Lori Manos, Head of Global Consumer Research and Market Intelligence and Commerce. Lori, and I see you again. Jennifer Matheson, VP Consumer Insights and Experience at CVS Health. Kalindi Mehta, Director Consumer and Market Insights at Colgate-Palmolive. And Jason Winstanley, Head of Insights at Moy Park. Hello, panel. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
All right. So I think we should just begin with I think we should begin with just like a softball type question. Maybe we can go around and really kind of touch on what consumer insights, what role consumer insights plays within your respective businesses and organizations. Lori, since I said your name first, would you like to start?
Sure. Thanks, Phil.
Yeah.
Well, Insights at Converse sits within strategy and product design with really strong connections to brand marketing as well. So as such, our primary role is to provide a consumer-centric fact base that drives strategy, product development, and brand messaging.
All right, great. Jennifer, would you like to jump in?
Sure. Hi. So within CVS Health, we have different business units. We have our retail business unit, we have Aetna, and we have our PBM. And our team is an enterprise team that works across all of those. I report to the CMO, Norton DeGrav, and of course we support marketing, whether it's creative testing, brand tracking, and other more marketing related things. But we also really influence a lot of decisions that are made strategically at the company around which new products and services to enter into, as well as a lot of work around how we can improve the customer and member experience.
Super. Kalindi?
Yeah, hi Phil. So Colgate, Insights at Colgate has been on a journey of evolving. So I think traditionally Insights played a role of helping make the right business decision by doing different researches, or doing certain advanced analytic modeling. But I think over time we've evolved, and we are trying to evolve. I think we're pretty close, but still a way to go to becoming an organization that is driving like foresight, driving trends, driving thought leadership, becoming the team that connects the dots between various different things to influence, inspire, and impact the organization from an innovation perspective, from a communication perspective, but also from a retail and from a commercial perspective. So we've tried to move from a team that really helps drive decision making, risk taking, and risk management to a team that really drives growth by identifying opportunities. And so we try to see how we can do regular typical market research, do it in a faster, quicker, cheaper way. And we have an offshore team which based in India that helps do that for us, so that the team that's based here in the North American head office is really driving foresight, cultural insighting, ethnography, semiotics, more predictive stuff.
You mentioned something really important. I'm going to get to it, but Jason, last but not least.
Thanks, Phil. Yeah, well, we're based in the UK, as you can probably tell by my accent, and our business is food manufacture, and mainly in the private label sector. So we have lots of retail partners, and we operate across maybe 7 or 8 different categories. So we're always using insight to try and inform ourselves on shopping habits across those categories, on to inform our MPD and innovation strategies, as the other guys have said. And as we've just heard as well, to also think a bit further ahead and think about what might be around the corner for us, later in the year, next year, and further afield.
Excellent. I just want to kind of jump into it. I'm going to pose this common question. Actually, it came from our panel chat yesterday when we were talking about agile insights and solutions within the NPD process. But it was really important. I think it ties nicely within collaboration. How much of your organizations are relying on insights, and we're all talking about speed to insights and staying ahead of consumers. We're procuring these insights very quickly, and then how is that information disseminated across your organization to actually make business, product, brand, and marketing decisions? Anyone?
Yeah, first? I can jump in if you like there. I think certainly with what we've seen this year, the profile of our insights department went right up the business, really. As we went into lockdown in the UK, as we had empty shelves for a while, we had huge supply chain challenges. The business was looking to us to really tell them what could be expected, what consumers and shoppers were thinking, and what the next move might be. So our profile has really been enhanced massively this year, but in normal years, it's normally a process where we are feeding into all sorts of processes right across the business, and in many ways we act as a hub and a kind of a centralization point for dealing with lots of different departments around the business.
Yeah, I'll just build on Jason. I think I fully agree with Jason. I think the role of the insights function has become, has been amplified and enhanced during COVID, during this entire crisis. And I think what it's done is, typically insights is always trying to push, focus on the consumer, look at these trends, look at this foresight. I think this time we've got a lot of pull. The organization wants it, needs it, and is open to activating it, truly doing things with it, because there is a genuine need, and we can't really rely on your own personal instinct, because things are evolving and changing so fast. People are more open to being external and obsessed with the changes and the consumer now than ever before. So I think it's really, as we've tried to evolve our journey on insights, it's really helped the insights team focus on the right things, which is like foresight and growth and agility, which we've been trying to drive. This is the time that we've been able to do it, and it's the commercial team has been very open to it.
We've seen a lot of heightened interest as well in consumer insights as provided by the insights teams themselves. So people are leaning on us more because in the footwear and apparel industry, we're really, Converse is really more of a fashion business than it is a sport centered business. And so our teams historically have relied a lot on intuition and about getting out and interacting personally and directly with their consumer in the market. And with COVID-19, that's come to a screeching halt. And so we've been relying a lot on our online tools and on us as partners to help them access those tools. In fact, even training them on insights tools so that they can self-serve. So there's been some A, heightened demand, and B, some dramatic shifts in how we're doing insights.
Jennifer, I'll let you jump in here. Oh, weird. Okay. Oh, there. I cannot get you off mute. Oh, we'll have someone on the technical side fix that. Sorry, I'll come back to you, Jennifer. Laura, I do want to kind of touch base on something you did say, because especially at Converse, you guys are so true to brand so often. And, 2020, I mean, the consumer sentiment, consumer has changed so much. How much of a role does insights play to a company who's had such a strong historic brand in the space?
Yeah, well, we partner really closely with brand marketing, and just a really recent example, a good example is in reshaping our mission, vision, and positioning, and relying a lot on what historically has been the strength of the brand, but not wanting to be stagnant and stuck in the past by any way, shape, or form, especially since our target is a youth audience. So they've worked really closely with us to help them figure out what are some of the elements of the brand that we absolutely need to retain, and what are some of the elements of the brand that we can evolve to become more modern. And I think PSA tomorrow, you're going to see a new launch from Converse, a new campaign, and I think you're going to see some really exciting sort of evolution in the brand that insights played a part in.
Awesome. I'm excited to see that announcement. Jennifer, I'm told if you maybe reload your screen, it should fix. Sorry, we can't get it. You're on mute for some crazy reason, but we'll come back to you when we can. So, we touched on 2020. We touched on, just how the world has changed so much and how the consumer behavior and sentiment has changed so much. How are the business units and the product units at Maury Park relying on the insights teams today? Has that changed at all? Have you guys changed in your insights collection process? I know Lori mentioned specifically giving more access and more self-serve tools to these teams. Are you guys seeing that at Colgate or Maury Park?
Well, certainly at Maury Park. I mean, we have a relatively small insights team, and we I suppose we're not quite as generous with our insight tools. We like to keep them to ourselves, to be honest. And so we continue to run the insight. But what we do like to do is share that insight as widely as possible. So we have a large distribution list within the business. And as I alluded to earlier on, that the whole COVID situation meant that we had to react very, very quickly. So one of the things we did was we set up a COVID tracker. And we used our Toluna quick survey methodology for that. And to start off with, when we were right in the middle of lockdown, or as soon as we hit it, we were running that about 3 times a week, and that was giving us feedback on people's potential shopping habits, and we could feed that straight into our forecasting people. Because I don't know what the situation was like in the States, but in the UK for about a week and a half, food supply was actually, quite critical. And the whole industry worked really well together, actually, to pull ourselves out of that and to calm consumers down. So us being able to feed in that kind of information, that real-time information that we were getting from consumers 3 or 4 times a week into our forecasting people, really helped the situation at the time. And then since then, we've kind of ramped down the frequency with which we're doing that, but we still keep on running that survey every now and then just to take a flavour of where the consumer mood is at the moment.
That's great. I see, Jennifer, you're back and you're not on mute. So I'd love to hear you chime in, especially, from Stevie's health standpoint and what we've been dealing with the pandemic here. How has things changed over from CVS, from the ability to consume insights and disseminate across the businesses?
Well, I think we always had a pretty quick turn approach to retail, to our retail insights in particular, because it's such a competitive, fast-moving business. But even that was just completely on steroids during COVID. I mean, if you think about a lot of the things that we thought that we would have known about what makes people feel safe or want to shop in our stores, we looked into whether or not we should be doing COVID testing, and if so, how. We were, I think, probably others on this call would agree, I feel like we did 2 years worth of insights work in 2 months. And I actually, for better or for worse, I don't know that we'll go back to the kinds of timelines we had before. So we have prioritized our quick turn methodologies. We have an in-house panel. We have in-house communities. We have some things that we do that are just on the faster end. We also spend a lot less time, or a bit less time, sort of synthesizing our work in terms of making it into beautiful PowerPoints and sort of having a big reveal at the end. Like, we have had meetings with the head of strategy, the president of the company, et cetera, where we just literally show like an Excel spreadsheet that we pulled from Tab and Banner, 10 minutes earlier. And I think we've all seen that faster is better than prettier. And I think we're looking to continue to be as agile as possible going forward.
Excellent. Kalindi, do you want to jump in?
Just been said. I think overall, we still, in terms of the tools right now, it's still with the insights team, and we manage it with the help of our offshore team, but it's still with us. But having said that, we did a similar thing to what Jason just spoke about, like a very agile COVID tracker using agile tools, because some of our categories like liquid hand soap and household cleaners, things are changing every day, and as you have to forecast and decide what we need to manufacture, I think it was important to get really quick agile learning on changes in behavior, habit, both from a shopping perspective as well as a usage perspective. The other thing I think we changed, which is very interesting, that the agile tools became a part of a lot of other insighting that we do. So we really, it's not no one tool can answer what we're trying to get at. So we really connected everything with social listening, connected to agile research and connected it with analytics. So it was this whole combination of tools and techniques and approaches, which really we moved to doing that on a more consistent and regular basis, thanks to COVID, which I think is a good precedent for the future. And the third big change is, we typically work with the marketing team and the CDO team, the sales team, but I think, the finance team and the supply chain team became more interested in what we were doing and what we were saying, because it became critical to their job. And even the HR team, to understand consumers and people in general, I think. So we expanded, our audience of who we engage with. There were more people who were interested in what we were doing than, just the typical marketing teams. And so I think it changed the audience of engagement for the insights team. Yeah.
Excellent. Susan, I want you to get in this and chime in from a research standpoint and a provider research standpoint. How important has it been, to maintain speed, but also to maintain not just quality of deliverables, but the look and feel and actionable deliverables rather than just delivering, let's say, data files and data sets?
Yeah, no, it's a good point. I mean, I kind of agree with what most of the panelists have said by the more iterative nature of the research that's taken place over the last kind of 6 months. The speed at which people want to check things as behavior's changing is very frequent. And honestly, that's because the behavior was changing from week to week as well. And that's making sure that, you're set up in advance more than anything else. So I think that's that's been easier to do when you're used to delivering things at speed anyway. But actually, it's only accelerated. So, a lot of the work that we're doing was fast turn anyway, but actually most of it in the last, few months we've seen such a significant increase in our solutions. And it's not just a case of the field work needs to be done in a short time frame. We're talking about having the initial conversation with the client, with the initial brief, to then making the decision on a project within a few days. And I think that's the difference. It's not, I think people maybe in the past got the impression that you can do a project, the research element of the project, that people would outsource quickly. But actually it's gone from having those conversations where it's just an idea on the back of a meeting that they've just come out of. They actually need us to design it, get it into field, get it out, and then be able to present that back in a meeting in a couple of days. So it's the whole process that's been sped up. And I think lots of people are doing things in a more kind of iterative process and a stop and start. It's kind of ongoing dialogue with the clients. So yeah, that's definitely been the case, and not just across the categories that you would imagine. So, across many categories as things have changed. So not just in personal care or, household cleaning products or, media and entertainment services. It's been right across the board. Because people are just being, the appetite for consumer insights has just really accelerated.
Yeah, I mean, that's good for all of us because that's really what we do, right? So thinking about especially 2020, and we all kind of started planning for 2020. If anyone maintained their strategy for this year and all the things that happened, and wow, good for you. But all of us probably had to do 180. How have your insights teams changed drastically? Not just with the way we're collecting it, we obviously need it faster, but with the way we're deciding to take on specific work or making business decisions to other teams. Maybe Lori, I can go back to you from a Converse perspective.
Well, one of the things I did mention was that pretty much everything has changed. We're doing things differently because everything has to be online right now. We're asking different kinds of questions, and we're even behaving differently in terms of how we interpret things. We're constantly needing to ask ourselves, are the shifts that we're seeing going to be ongoing, or are these one-time shifts as a result of COVID? Also, our business has been really impacted by the racial and social injustice movement in the United States in particular. So all of these changes, we're trying to ask ourselves, what's going to last and what's temporary? So hopefully that answers your question.
It does. And I mean, not just from a product standpoint, right? It's from a messaging standpoint, when to message at what moment in time, depending on the service that you provide. I'm sure that's been a challenge for all brands, maybe more so on the health side of things. Jem, on your end?
Yeah, so I mean, you asked sort of how we're approaching it differently other than methodologies. I mean, one of the things that we've done is we always try to be as connected to the business decision makers as possible so that we can be as proactive as possible. So I asked to be included, and at some point we were having like multiple daily task forces, like one around COVID testing and how to roll that out, another one around overall enterprise response, another one for the Aetna response. So we had all these daily task forces that are now, some of them are like twice a week or weekly. But we had somebody from the insights team on every one of these so that we could hear what are the things that people are worried about, what are they have questions about, what are the things that are the next steps we're considering taking. So we could chime in and be like, oh, well, I think that I can help by doing X, Y, Z, and I'll have something for you by next Tuesday or whatever. So I'm hopeful that that's also a durable way of us doing business, that people realize that if you have an insights person in the room, it just makes everything faster and more smooth.
Do you think that, and this is for the whole panel, I mean, we talk about, methodology not changing too much, but the approach potentially changing, especially now, and empowering some of these other divisions, not empowerment to build the methodology, but to click a button and say, I want to do this brand test or this concept test and allowing them to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think we are heading in that direction, Phil. And I think, I mean, we were already, looking at that, but I think COVID kind of accelerated that for a couple of reasons, right? I think if we get out of the insights world, I think COVID has resulted in, organizations focusing more on digital, from every perspective. And digital requires you're doing more communication, you're doing more stuff, you're more content, and it has to be faster and agile. It's almost always on. And for that, I think you need like agility in learning and insights, at a speed that we've never done before. The second thing is innovation has become more important. It was anyway becoming more and more important in the last couple of years, but it's become even more important because things are changing. And if you need to be first in the game in terms of innovation and new product development and new service development and, really expand, do more disruptive and breakthrough things. And as a result, I think the organization has also become more open to progress over perfection, which is, let's do things fast, even if it's not perfect, but let's learn and let's move forward. And as a result of that, the amount of work that has been created, both because of digital and because of innovation, both are really consumer centric. I think it's not practical. It's not like our resources are increasing, right? And insights, we have a pretty large team, but we're not getting more people. So what do you do? How do you manage this need for iterative, testing, more frequent testing, more consumer feedback on more things? So I think we are looking at how do we democratize insights and give marketing and even some of the retail teams possibly, right? The shopper teams, an ability, to screen things in a more iterative, easy way early on and, own the research and be empowered. So how do we do that, right? And so I think some of the things you guys spoke about earlier today, how do you create the standardization and templates and ease of use so that somebody who's not an insights expert can do the insighting and own the consumer point of view, and versus rely on us. And on the other hand, that opens up the insights team to do more thought leadership, to do more foresight, to do things which are a huge, need for the organization. So I think we're trying to move in that direction.
Yeah, Jason, I'll let you jump in. I feel like you're chomping at the bit.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. It sort of really resonated with me as well, because although earlier on I was saying we like to keep the actual insights tools to ourselves, which is true. We don't share those passwords around or anything, but it's a very good point actually that making other departments and other people more insight savvy, I guess, and what are the correct questions that they should be asking if they want some insight into this particular area. What are the things that they should be thinking about? And we found that we have been working very collaboratively with people whose day job isn't to design surveys, like a large part of our day job is, but actually, can we get them thinking in terms of that, that kind of mindset to think about the right questions to be asking, and that helps us to drive efficiency, I guess, in terms of when we are running our surveys and when we're sort of going through those results and we're trying to get the insights out around people, we've already driven some efficiency into that process because, as we've all talked about, this year has really driven insights up the awareness of most businesses really, and I think it's left our departments in a good position, but actually everybody now wants more. So how can we drive the efficiencies in terms of what we're doing?
Yeah, build on that. I think the one thing that we've learned as we've started this journey on, getting other teams to become, insights people almost, or to become at least not insights people, but, do their own inciting, is that I think we need three things. And I think Susan touched upon that earlier today, is that you need the right tool that is really user-centric. And the focus of the user should be a marketing person or a shopper person, and not designed for an insights person who is super savvy with research. Second is templates for standardizing. I think there are always exceptions, but you need those templates. And the third is training on what are the right questions to be asked. So I think, so we're in the process of building that tool, template, and training so that we can expand the scope, because you can't just give the tools because they can be really misused and you get garbage in, garbage out, right? So you need to do it in a thoughtful, planned way as we democratize it. Yeah, it's not just about the tool.
Yeah,
that's why we like to keep control of the tools, because we still make mistakes. So if we just kind of let everybody loose on it, that's why we like to kind of keep that controlled, but really make it inclusive as to who is asking us to work on their behalf, really.
Yeah. Lori,
Yeah,
go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say, I mean, that's one of the real drivers that we've seen from the conversations that we've had with different brands and clients. It's that control, but it's quality control. It's about enabling the senior insight leaders in organizations, if they're expected to scale in the way that they want to scale. So with their controls, with their kind of frameworks in place, with their quality standards, then they're happy to share. And that's how it enables the collaboration tool to work, because you don't want to be sharing when it's not the same tools, the same frameworks, the same processes, then you don't get consistency across your organization. But I think this kind of feeds back to the points people were making earlier. If the demand and the appetite for insights is increasing, then the ability to scale is absolutely key. But to scale in an appropriate way with the quality that you want, it is really what's driving the change.
Lori, do you want to chime in?
Oh, so I agree with so many of the points that were just made. So I'm sitting here nodding along, but totally agree that as the appetite has increased, it's been difficult to kind of keep up with the demand and maintain the quality control that you talked about. I'm finding that I'm spending a lot of time communicating right now, and sometimes I wish I had a bit more time for reflection and interpretation. But at the same time, I think net it's the right balance, because it's evangelizing for the tools, and it's helping to move the organization together as a whole.
And Jen, I know from CVS standpoint, you guys are using so many, like all of us, so many different sources of data, your own CRM, your purchase behavior data, and then insights behavior data. Like that combination of all these sources, how easy is it making that to disseminate across the organization?
Gosh, I don't know that, I would say that the plethora of sources does make synthesis harder, right? And we partner very robustly with, we have a fantastic enterprise analytics group here at CVS Health, and we're really fortunate. We partner with them to help sort of make sense of all the different data coming in from different places. I would say the dissemination is, the one thing that we've done differently is a lot more sort of like broadcast to, kind of broadcast email type things. That's new. But the dissemination, we had a lot of the infrastructure already, because the way we happen to be set up is that everybody in the insights team is essentially attached to a specific group of business stakeholders and decision makers, right? So there's somebody who's attached to the pharmacy marketing team, somebody else who's attached to Medicare and Medicaid over at Aetna. So we already had in place this sort of relationships, essentially, to understand what people were looking for and to get it to the right people really quickly. So that helped us in, when things really heated up.
That's great. I forget who said it, so I'm sorry, because there's a few of us on the call. But, if I just look at the last 10 years, and I look at that because I've been at Toluna for 10 years, and just seeing I would not call it stigma, but like the reluctance to do research because it felt like it was slow or it felt like it was so expensive. And we accelerate ourselves to this point in time. We've all talked about this, especially the last 6 months, how more reliant these business units are on research, trying to get some data, some indication to point us in the right direction. Especially it's even more critical now on how we communicate with consumers, given all the other economic and social economic things that we're dealing with. So I think from an insight standpoint, I think we're doing a really great job proving the value of this. Now, how do we go back to Colleen's point, empower more groups to want to use more of this data on a more consistent basis? All right. Susan, do we have any questions from the audience that we can address?
Yeah, we do. And they're quite specific ones, I suppose, on the back of the demo. So it's probably good to maybe go through a few of them, if that's okay. Mm-hmm. So someone's asked about the average size of the companies that tend to use our platform, and is it suitable for all different sizes of companies?
Yeah, I obviously have to take that question.
You'll take that, Phil.
Yeah, I mean, we work with most major brand in the world, but as we're trying to do, and we're trying to push from a democratization of research standpoint, is make research accessible to just about anybody. From a custom research standpoint, there's not a lot that you can't do within the platform, from quant to qual to behavioral tracking information and mission-based information. But our real focus on automated solutions, automating proven methodology, automating the deliverable and the reports of that allows just about anyone to leverage and use the platform.
Okay. Thank you. And then the other one is about the fact that this is obviously a new platform, and if people have used other platforms or the old platform, what happens to their old projects? So can they be transferred into the new platform for them to share and collaborate in terms of the themes that we've been talking about?
Yeah. So as most hopefully know, we're retiring all of our other product technologies, and the Toluna Start platform becomes our single source platform for all of our solutions. As a result, we've migrated all historical work that you've conducted either on quick surveys or on Toluna Insights now live and exist in the Toluna Start platform.
Okay, and then this is a question, I suppose, for all the panelists. So someone's, we've touched on it a little bit, but maybe we could expand on it. It's a good final question, really. So during the challenges of the last 6 months, what impact did it have on collaboration in terms of your business decision making? So we've talked about empowering people, but actual business decision making, maybe within the brands that are on the panel today.
Jason,
yeah, I can go if you like. I mean, I mentioned at the very start that most of our business is in the private label sphere. So that collaboration with our retail partners, and we also have food service business. Obviously, the food service businesses went through a very tough time as we went into lockdown. They were actually closed down. So as they were gradually reopened, we were able to work with those guys in terms of things like menu design, for instance. So some of these guys had to suddenly redo their menu on an app because people had to order on an app before they went to the restaurant. So we were able to work with them to advise them, in a very short space of time, what that app should look like in terms of the functionality and the decision making that went into it, the purchase decision, if you like. And then with our retail partners, just the whole experience, I think, in the UK was very collaborative between retailers and suppliers. It's been a very cutthroat market for a very long time. But actually, I think the lockdown period saw the industry at its very best, really working together to the benefit of the nation. And, that was recognised by consumers. There's independent research that shows that the industry is now held in higher esteem, I think, than it's ever been. And, Insight has been key to that in terms of us being able to tell our partners, exactly what their shoppers are looking for and how they're likely to be behaving. Not even next week, but possibly tomorrow. Things are changing that quickly.
Laura, you want to jump on?
So we
Looked like Kalinda went off mute.
Yeah, I mean, I'll talk about 3 things with decision making. I think one, from an insights perspective, I mean, we are not the decision makers. That hasn't changed, right? The commercial teams are still the decision makers, but our voice has gotten louder. Yeah. And we're able to have a bigger impact and influence. So I think it's not the change in the decision making, it's just that we just have a more of an influence, but we are not the decision makers as yet. And the second thing is, I think if you go beyond insights, I think that, there are 2 things that happen in decision making in the broader organization. One is because a lot of decisions you make on many of our categories have huge supply chain and manufacturing impacts. So certain decisions are made even more at the top, because the impact could be, it could be a lot bigger. On the other hand, as we drive digital and e-commerce and, more innovation, I think the teams are getting more empowered to make certain level of decisions on a day-to-day basis without, having to get alignment because you're moving a lot faster.
I can give you one example at Converse. We use product line optimization tools to edit our product line to control inventory, because obviously a lot of stores were closed and we didn't want to be left with enormous amounts of inventory. So we tried to be really, really smart and disciplined about where we would build inventory and what product lines we might be able to trim. We call it edit to amplify. I don't know if that applies to other industries, but we have thousands of products in the marketplace at any given time. So this is a really difficult challenge right now.
Yeah, excellent. We lost Jen. Sorry, this is the digital world we're in right now. You know, it's gonna be a lot easier, but so apologize to her for that and the technical issues that she went through. But I appreciate all of you for your time, your cooperation, your engagement in this panel discussion. Thank you all so much. This is the end of our session for day 2. Tomorrow we start again at 11 a.m. Eastern time. And tomorrow we're talking about brand and communications. We have another great panel to go through and another great demonstration of products. So thank you all again, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Take care. Bye.
Thank you.